Good afternoon, everybody. Uncle Dan here. I'm thrilled to be with my friend, colleague, client, my Oklahoma philosopher, businessman extraordinaire. When I get done building you up, okay, you might have to. I don't know if your head's going to fit outside the door there, but philanthropist, all around, good guy, motivational guy. He's here to change the planet, change the world, change the industry. I know that because we've had many discussions over the years. But today, I want to introduce everybody to Danny Smith, and I'm going to let him talk in a minute, but I want to set this up for everybody who's going to listen to this. First of all, as you can see, if you watch the video, you see Danny owns race cars and he does dirt track racing, but we'll get into that. We'll get into that in a minute. When I met Danny 5 years ago, almost 5 years ago, it's coming up to 5 years, you believe it or not. I think I had a full head of hair, actually, Danny, when I met you, and then now it's. Anyway, he set out on a journey. He was on a quest to transform his company, and he's done that, and he continues to do it. So I'm not saying it's ever going to be a done deal completely. So you always got to work on it, I think, but I really want to get into him talking about how he transformed his company, what it was like beforehand, what it's like after this transformation, what some of the numbers look like. Why do I do this? Because I want to give hope to other business people out there. I want them to talk about the stress levels, what it was like before and what it's like now, and what the mood inside the company is like, what it was like then and what it's like now. And I want to look at just everything, like paint the picture before transformation, after transformation. Something flipped in his head and he was able to transform the business. So let me introduce Danny. How are you, buddy?
I'm all good, buddy.
Good. Great to see you. I was really inspired by you last week when you said in July, after 5 years, you had a record month, the best month the company's ever had. I look at the call volume statistics and they're just like blowing up. I don't know how you. It's just like I've never seen numbers like they're just going spiking straight up. If you could articulate what your desire was in the beginning on that drive down to New Orleans, you were in a mindset to transform your company. I know that.
Well, I'm just like any other business owner. The struggles, and I had an idea of how things should go and how business should be done and stuff, but trying to get everybody on the same page, trying to keep my business operating and going forward, but trying to get everybody else on the same thought wavelength and to doing it even remotely close to what I was doing it. And I knew where the problem was. I just didn't know what the solution was. I searched and searched and searched. And when we just, I went down to New Orleans and I had my oldest son with me. We were using the drive as a kind of a come to Jesus meeting, as either he needed to get on board and quit punching the clock and drawing a paycheck and put his life and soul into the business like I was, because eventually it was going to be his.
Right.
Or he was going to have to go work for somebody else.
Okay.
And so we were using the drive to talk about that. And then we stumbled into your deal. And when I met you, I'm a, Oklahoma slow, and I got this New York, New Jersey guy that is on the chip. And I wasn't intimidated, but I was impulsed to hear you out. And as soon as I heard what you were talking about, it was a realization for me that the reason my guys didn't operate on the same level or the same idealism as I was is because I had failed to communicate it exactly how I wanted it done, and how people were looking through our business to get their problem solved. And it brought everything into light of, we know where the problem's at, we just didn't know where to solve it, how to solve it. And then,
well, how would you characterize the problem that you were trying to fix?
If I have a certain way of doing things, like on even repairing a car or handling a customer, maybe a mad customer, or maybe somebody that's just not happy or something like that, or people who have come in the door and their car's broken again, even though it's not anything to do with what we've done, you know, their anxiety and stress levels through the roof. Well, they just transfer that over to my guys and us and stuff like that.
Right.
And then, so once I was introduced to the proper way to communicate, it changed everything. It changed everything. And when we came back from New Orleans, I got 2 speeding tickets on the way back from New Orleans to Oklahoma, about an hour apart, because
You never told me that.
yeah. Oh, I was excited about it.
You were
I mean,
trying to get back fast.
Yeah, because I wanted to share. I felt like I had found a tool. And my right-hand guy that had been with me for a long time, you know, we're on the phone and stuff. I said, no, you just don't understand. You know, I gotta get there. I gotta show you. I said, I think this is going to be what we're looking for. And it has been. And it's, it will never, ever work for anybody else except for me, unless they believe in it and believe in themselves as much as I did. And then once I got it introduced to my guys on this new way of communicating, it's not words, it's not phrases, it's not a script. It's a method of talking. See, 5 years ago we had 5 stores. We were operating with about 50 employees, 48 to 50 employees. Nets were good. Not where I wanted them to be, but they fell in line with the average of all the other automotive repair shops throughout our region and the nation.
In terms of percentage, what are you talking about? How much revenue did you do? What was the estimated net ballpark?
Our revenue 5 years ago was around $5 million a year. We had the 5 stores. We had a couple stores that were a lot larger than others. We had some really small stores. Stores that only had 4 or 5 guys total in the whole store.
Right.
Rural areas outside of the Tulsa, Oklahoma city. So these were all outside of the cities, rural areas. We've been, plugging along. I think we were averaging about 1,500 cars a day. Or excuse me, that would be a month. Yeah, a month. We had a decent average repair order, around $300 was our average repair order throughout all the shops. And our phone traffic was, I don't know what the number would have been on it at that particular moment, but it was mediocre at best. Once I had found and figured out that the way we were talking to people on the phone and stuff like that was exactly the same as every other automotive repair shop and tire shop in and around my area. Then I found out that after listening to recordings of all the other repair shops across the nation, we were just like they were. We were talking the exact same. And whenever I learned that we could change the way we're talking and change the way we're communicating to where it opens the customer up to want to communicate and to want to be a part of the process, then it changed everything. So I came back from New Orleans. I had already listened to recordings of our shops. I canceled all of my marketing. It was doing me no good to make the phone ring if we were doing such a poor job at it. So we immediately went into the training, and some of the guys did not buy into it. The majority of them did it because I said so. And then after just a few days, some of the guys did immediately. Some of the guys were reluctant, but still did it because I said so. Some people did not make it. We have a thing in our business is we have a certain way of doing things. If you can't do it that way, you can't work here.
Right.
And so we had to force you to lay it out and say, this is what we're going to do. And then in a matter of 10 to 15 days, I would say 75 to 80% of them already seen it work and felt it. They felt it whenever they did it. When they talk to a human being in a way that human being is receptive and is on their side instead of me against you, because that's what the automotive business has always been, is me against you. You know, people rehearse, you know, I'm not going to get took or get shystered down here at this place. And
They
so,
come in ready. You're saying they come in, the customer comes in armed already in a defensive position.
yeah.
Yes.
So whenever we change that all around where it is, you know, well, okay, we can help you with that. Doesn't matter what it is, we can help you with that. We're not
Right.
a paint and body shop, but if you hit a deer and you call my shop, we're going to help you with it, and we're going to figure it out, and we're going to get it to the right people that can help you. Whereas before, we would have said, not a body shop, you know, and that'd been the end of the conversation.
You're not a body
So,
shop. Boom, done, over. Case closed.
Yeah. At the end of this year, we're looking to hit around 14 million. That is really close to triple of what we did 5 years ago.
Unbelievable. And you only
I
added
took-
one more. You added one more store.
Yeah, we added one more store. We changed we put the marketing back in play. About 7-8 months, we've turned the marketing back on.
Yeah.
3 months ago, we have a managers meeting once a month. The managers meeting is a time for everybody to, hey, what do you need from me? Or what do you need from the group? Or what can we do to make it better? And they asked me if there was anything that I could do about the phones. And I was like, okay, what's wrong with the phones? Because we have a remarkable phone system. And they said, it's ringing too much. I can't get anything done. Now, granted, my marketing has changed. Don't get me wrong. My marketing has changed and stuff, but my marketing budget has not gone up hardly at all in the last 4 years. They asked me, can we just make it not quite ring as much because we can't get anything done? And so, and everybody's in the forte of not being able to find enough help. So we are doing pretty good on that. So we're just bringing in more people. Now we're up to 70 employees.
Wow. 70 employees, and you're almost tripled your business in 4.5 years. What your mood was like before the transformation, how you operated as a human being.
I was the biggest asshole you ever worked for. I mean, I barked the
I
orders.
didn't want to say that, but it's okay for you.
Yeah, you know, the stress level was through the roof. I mean, yeah, I went through people. They called me the lawnmower man. I mowed them down. You know, if you couldn't step up to the plate and get the job done, you went down the road and worked for somebody else. So, I mean, the stress level was through the roof. It was very stressful. I was a military, you know, general. Mark out the orders and let's get it done. Rally the troops and go. And it took a while for me to learn how to lead. Once I got these guys, you know, as you can see, I'm at my race car shop right now in the middle of the day on a Friday, which is one of our busiest days of the year. And my shops operate flawlessly without me there. We're down about 9 guys right now due to the virus that's going around. And so that's a pretty significant amount. That's like over 10% of my workforce is out right now. And we were able to, guys can go from one shop to the other because they all operate the exact same. They all have the same procedures, the same setup. The computers look the same. The screens look the same. The phones, all the guys. So guys can move around from store to store, and it's like nothing. It's actually, some of them like to go because they get to see what some of the other shops are doing, and it works out real good. And so, yeah, Randy just took a bunch of the guys to go eat dinner last night for their birthday. And me and my wife didn't know anything about it. Randy's one of my right-hand guys. And he took, I don't know, 7 or 8 of them out to eat dinner last night for their birthdays. And me and my wife went out and ate, and we just happened to go to the same restaurant. We didn't even know it.
You're kidding me.
That was, you know, so this is a guy that is not an owner. He's worked for me for about 14 years. And he took the sales and the service advisors for their birthday. He takes them out to eat. I didn't. He
You
does
didn't
it
know
on his own
about
dime.
it. He did it. He did
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
And so he had a little issue with his mother's health, so he missed a couple of weeks of doing that. He's our coach, and they all showed up in their "I can help you with that" T-shirts
At the dinner?
at the dinner. Randy was in tears,
Really?
you know, because that the guys have bought into it so much, and they've seen it go. Well, they've all, doubled their income. You know
Yes.
what I mean? And so now we have, our benefits package is greatly increased, and our labor rate and wages have gone substantially higher. So it's made it a lot easier for me to take care of all the guys. We don't have the stress level. The guys enjoy coming to work. It's been a transformation of my entire company from the bottom to the top.
Yes. That whole, I can help you with that philosophy. The thing we hear around the industry from every owner is they can't find anybody. Given that your business is different, what would it be like before in the old days versus what it is now with regard to recruiting?
Well, in the old days, I'd have been no different than anybody else. We'd run the ads and hope like heck you got somebody that could breathe, and then you hired them, and then you hope for the best.
Yeah.
Now we go through an extensive background check and characterization, because they're the lifeblood and the front line of your business. So they have to have the same character traits and idealisms that we do. And they've never been introduced to anything like this. So it's a part of our interview process is to show them what we do and how we do it. A guy comes in and applies for an oil changer, and he's a manager of a store now because he could articulate and he had drive and want. He just needed an opportunity. So
Yes.
we gave him that opportunity. So that right there, it spreads like wildfire through a community. Your culture and how you take your guys, what you do with your guys and stuff like that. It's not about money. It has nothing to do with money. It's just treating them with respect and dignity and what have you. And you build this culture. Well, they treat you with respect and dignity. And next thing you know, they treat the business as if it was theirs. And that's what I was striving for 5 years ago, is nobody would do it like I was doing it. And so I was gruff and, well, what'd you do that for, stupid, And now it's more of a, wow, that's a different way of doing it. I like that, and it's made us better.
Sure.
So, and that the word getting out like that, taking care of my guys, taking care of our employees and stuff, has built us into now everybody wants to come work for us. So now we're attracting quality people and stuff. We still
The word got out into the community. If you're in this industry, you got to work for same day. Is that what you're saying? The conversation.
Oh yeah. Yeah. A lady posted today, Randy had put a picture on there that he had took all those guys to eat dinner. It's on our Facebook page. And a lady had posted on there, do you guys need a work-in nurse? She goes, because you look like you got a great company to work for. And I thought, see, that's so cool. That's so cool.
Right. She wants to, she's
I
a
mean?
nurse, and she wants to come work with you. You should bring her on.
Yeah.
Because you may need her as you get older.
Yeah, if you could just
That's a great
see
idea.
some
I
of the
need the
stuff
nurse,
like
not you. I need the nurse, not you.
yeah, I'm not far behind you, buddy.
Yeah. It's funny.
It's different. The way we communicate is different. But once you've done it a little bit, you go, man, why shouldn't everybody should have been talking. You go to a restaurant and you get some of the exceptional service, which is rare. Man, it's shocking.
Yeah. Yes.
It's shocking. And so
It does shock the system, yeah. So it's very interesting.
We're shocking everybody, not because we hold a door or go get an umbrella when it's raining. It's not that. It's how we talk. It's how we communicate.
Yes.
And it's not, this is how we're going to do it or something like that. We share a commitment together to get the car fixed. And it's not about the car. It's about the person. It's
Yes.
about the problem that they're having. And we focus on the car after we get their problem taken care of.
So this transformation, how again, go back now to the beginning. How would you characterize the transformation now, before and after? Because we're hearing all these great things, but it's like the revenue, the employees, recruiting, talk about employee retention. Then we'll get back to that other big question. Talk about employee retention, because that's another big thing that I hear from business people all over the country, is that they can't keep people, they can't get people.
You can't change your culture overnight in the eyes of the public. It's a transformation. It takes time. you can't go make up the fact that you have a culture. You got to prove it. You got to show people that you
Okay.
got to get involved and you got to do things and show. And so every time we do stuff with our employees, we take pictures and we share it. We celebrate their birthdays. We celebrate their anniversaries with their wives. We celebrate their kids' anniversaries, their kids' birthdays, and stuff like that. Those are things that nobody does. Everybody that works for me on their birthday gets a birthday cake and gets a picture taken. And I don't know about you, but I'm 56 years old, and if it wasn't for that, would anybody ever give you a birthday cake? Once you're over about, 14 or 16 years old, nobody gets a birthday cake.
No.
So you take a grown man that's in his 40s and you say, hey, happy birthday, and you give him a cake. You're like, holy cow, it's cool.
It is.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're having to work on their birthday. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's the little recognition things and stuff. You treat them like a human being and treat them with dignity and respect, and it goes both ways.
What's interesting to me also, let me ask you a question, because I remember saying to you 5 years ago, I think you can do 20% a year. And at that instant, when I shared that, that was my belief. What did you think at that instant?
I thought you was full of shit.
You need, you need to learn to be a little more direct, Danny. You got to be direct.
You know me, I don't have much of a filter, and that's one of my downsides. But it's 20%. You're looking at $5 million a year, and 20%. And I was like, there's no way. You know what I mean? Yeah, okay, I could have seen 10. You know what I mean? And 10 was going to be, that's going to be an uphill battle. I think the first year we did 22%.
Yes.
I think we followed it up with another, it's like a 21 or 19, something like that. Last year with the pandemic and everything, we still were in the 16% range. Last month we were up 28% over last year. I kind of let my mouth ride check my ass can't cash, but I let my guys, if you have a record month in your store, then everybody in that store gets an extra added day of an added day of paid vacation. Well, every store is setting records every month, and I was like, man, these guys been up with like 5 weeks of vacation.
Nobody's going to be working. You'll show up one day, you'll be the only one on the job.
I was like, yeah, Dan was like, we got to figure out something else. I was like, what's that? Dan's my right-hand guy. And Dan's like, yeah, everybody's on vacation. So
who's doing the work?
We're working on it.
That's
I keep, after a little bit, you think, oh, I ought to slow down a little bit. Well, yeah, okay. It hasn't.
It hasn't actually, and that's what triggered this. Why I wanted to do this with you, because I'm just looking at the projection, and then when you tell me you're at 14 million, I'm going, holy crap! That started out at 5 million, and the goal, if you remember, the original goal was to get to 7 million.
Yeah, and we're going to be on top of the 14.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's way beyond it. So this is what I appreciate about you as a friend and as a colleague. I knew this was possible, and I knew it took you, for me to share some of these ideas with you and for you to implement. You had to implement, and you're brilliant. You and your team, brilliant implementers, and you got Randy and Dan, and they embrace. It's so great going out to lunch with you guys and hearing the language and the communication and the message is consistent. Everybody.
It was the single most difficult thing I've ever done in my life. It was, you hear somebody that's really overweight or smokers, and they say they quit, and they say, boy, it was really, really hard. Implementing is extremely difficult. Every automotive repair shop out there has bought a brand new tool. That's the new trick of the week. It's going to make this job go easier and smoother and stuff like that. And it sits out on the shop, and the guys use it once or twice, and it gets dust on it and everything else. And it turns out it wasn't the greatest investment. Every shop out there has those type of things out there.
Right.
And you bought it, and you knew it was the right thing to do, but getting them guys to use it, and it's new, and they're not open-minded, and it's, you know the drill. It's so you take the exact same thing. Now this is a big tool, and this is going to affect everybody in the business. You didn't buy a tire balancing machine that the tire guys are going to use. No, this is a tool that everybody from one end of the shop to the other is going to use. And they can't see it. They can't put their hands on it. And they can't look at it, see it, feel it, touch it. So it's a mindset with a theory, a philosophy. You're right there, and it changes your culture, and it is very, very difficult to implement. And but the rewards are monstrous. There's not a tool that you can buy for your shop that will generate that kind of percentage of money increase. Period. There's not anything, no procedures, no point of sale systems, no tool out there other than the way you communicate that will generate more money.
If you would share about that, the growth again from a perspective of your employees now, they go from month to month to month, and it keeps building and building and building. And what's going on in for them as they get busier and busier? I mean, how do you handle this type of astronomical growth?
First thing you do is you get out of everybody's way and let them do their job. Delegating is probably the single biggest hurdle that anybody in your organization will have, is to get out of the way and let somebody do their job. They may not do it exactly how you would do it. They may not do it quite as good as maybe you would do it, but you got to find the window that is acceptable, that job can get done in, and get out of the way, delegate, and go on to the next one. And so we've been taking the guys from the bottom to the top, and they've been learning how to delegate. Each person that knows his strengths and his weaknesses. And so we have allowed them to maneuver around and apply themselves to their strengths. Now we've taken the same guys and we've opened up opportunities now because of our growth. So like I said about the guy that applied for the oil changer job, now he's a store manager. So tire wrestlers and oil changers now are getting the opportunity to be technicians. So we're training them underneath the existing technicians, and we have a pay scale for those.
Nice. So you're giving them a career path, if you will.
Yeah, because and I have gone to more industry meetings that show the statistics on a guy that changes tires and changes oil is 90 days. The life expectancy of him in your shop is 90 days.
That's it.
If you
really?
get 6 months, if you get 6 months, you're doing good, because it's a very tough, very hard job, minimal pay, hardly has any benefits. So, and they know it's a dead end, and so they're going to go bounce from shop to shop to shop until either they go into a different industry or somebody somewhere maybe gives them a chance to go outside of that. So we offer the deal when you come into work, if you can provide and do certain things at certain levels and stuff like that, you get to move to the next level. And there are not hardly any new technicians coming into our business. So these guys that wrestle tires and change oil stuff, they're the future. So we got to find the ones that have the want to better themselves and become step up into the different parts of levels of income and positions. And then that goes all the way through. Technicians are now starting to come out of being a technician and coming up on the front counter. Some of them come up on the front counter and want to go back.
I can picture that. Yes.
Yeah, there's some that they think that they see it as one way, and then when they get there, it's a different kind of work. We just closed 50% of our shops on Saturday. We just closed 3 shops on Saturday. We just took every one of our technicians that are A technicians. They don't work Saturdays anymore.
Amazing.
And so we do $1 million a year on Saturdays, and we killed it because it's a morale killer. It's just we're going to move away from the Saturday deal because the workforce has earned the fact to make a living in 5 days. When people hear that they can go to work for same day and they don't have to work Saturdays, it has opened the flood door for more technicians. But the first thing we had to do, you mind this too, the very first thing I had to do during all this pandemic and everything else is I had to take care of who is currently on our team before I can offer anybody outside of that team any kind of incentive to come to work for us.
Mhm.
So I had to go to my guys and make sure that their pay scale was where it needed to be and adjust it accordingly. Make sure my benefit packages were where they need to be. And then, just like the Saturday deal, hey guys, you're not going to work Saturdays no more. Some of them were kind of not happy about that because they really make a good lick on a Saturday.
Yeah,
And then we allow it. That's fine, but it's not a have to. And now I can go and subscribe to getting more employees by using that as a benefit to not work Saturday.
yeah,
Now, if I go out there and try to hire somebody and say, hey, you come to work, you don't have to work Saturdays, and they come to work and the guys are going, why ain't he working Saturdays? Well, when we hired him in, he didn't have to. Well, that would be undermining to the
right.
whole.
No good. No good. Right. I get so much satisfaction out of watching you and other clients that have embraced, what you have seen. And not that I'm taking credit, because I've been teaching this stuff for a long time. It takes a while to find people that, and for me to how to communicate it and how to teach it, and et cetera. But it took you to really make this thing happen, and you've helped me no end. And I appreciate you for what you do and who you are. And I keep pointing to you. You have no idea how much, we talk about you all the time over here.
You've seen the need, and the difference between a good idea and a bad idea is, a good idea's got proof with statistics and numbers and everything that proves it's a good idea. A bad idea is just because, I think it'll work, or because I want to. That's a bad idea.
Yeah.
So you took a good idea and you've proven it out, and you studied it, you developed it, and you've tweaked it, and you've manipulated your theory and your philosophy on it, and then you presented it. When you presented it, it's great. It's freaking phenomenal. Implementation is the biggest hurdle. And
well, it's just like quitting smoking. It's easy to say I'm going to quit.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
So implementation, I could see where a lot of shops, I could see where some of the big ones will be really struggle with the implementation. I can see where the individual guy with one shop will be strong. He'll struggle with implementation. It is, it's tough. It is not the easiest thing in the deal, but it has got by far and away the biggest and largest return ROI that there is ever going to be in anything we ever do.
I appreciate it. What do you project for the next year? You're opening a new store. What do you think you do like 2 or 3 years from now? What are you going to be doing?
Next year, with the store addition, I think in 2 years we'll bust 20 million.
I think so.
Everybody's trying to buy us right now, and it's not about the money. Not at this point. Now it is about taking care of its future and taking care of the guys. The guy's wife goes into the convenience store and buys a gallon of milk. She reaches in and pays for it and never thinks twice about where that money came from. He gets up in the morning and goes to work and never thinks about the chains being on the doors or the doors being locked up or anything like that. Well, that's a huge moral obligation that I don't take lightly, that I need to make sure that place is profitable and up and running every day. Even though I said I had 70 employees, there's probably 300 people with their children and their wives and spouses and significant, and that rely on that place to be there every day. And selling it just ends that control. You don't know what a corporation would do. So it is what it is, and we're going to run with it like it is. And
there you go, buddy.
Keep it going.
I think it's a great idea, and who knows where it can go. It can go bigger and bigger and bigger and better, and you just keep making a difference for people. Let me ask you a question. You got a race this weekend?
Yeah, that's what that is right there. We're racing tomorrow night, and then I guess if I spin this around, you can see this is our race shop.
Yeah. How many race cars do you have?
Oh, there's I don't know, 6 or 7 of them in here. We've been racing a lot. We call this the month of money. So this is all our big races, big money races.
Good for you. You still owe me a ride, and you promised me I was going to drive one of those cars. I may be getting too old to do it now.
Oh, we're going to do it. We're going to wait till it cools off because it's really hot. I appreciate you, buddy.
Thank you. Have a great evening.
Thank you.